just words that are important, but that something else is going on here. Now, when I'm at home listening to your tapes or looking at YouTube on your videos, does that have the same effect or not?
Well, this isn't anything to do with anyone here. It's just that when there's an openness to going beyond the self, when there's a readiness to hear something that's beyond the self seeking and finding something, and there's a togetherness in that, then it can be very, there can be an openness to a boundlessness. So the contracted energy can somehow melt back into the boundlessness. This is a story, by the way. But in fact, it's like that all the time, really. It's always like that. You don't need to be here for that to happen. It just seems to be more powerful when there's a togetherness in it than when you're on your own somewhere. But certainly, listening or not listening to anything, you know, in a sense, doesn't make any difference. It's everywhere.
So I guess that this expression from some so-called old mystics, ancient mystics, the expression passing on the lamp would also fit the story, what you just described, I guess.
It could be like that, yes. Except that it's not, it's boundless already. This is boundlessness. And what sits in it can be a contractedness, which can melt back into that. But that boundlessness is all there is anyway.
So actually the lamp cannot be passed on.
No,
yeah.
It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Already. And it isn't anybody's to pass on.
Yes.
There isn't anybody. So the whole idea of transferring energy to someone is ridiculous because there isn't anyone to transfer it to or to give it to. And there isn't anybody to give it.
But maybe sitting in presence with this...
Well, there is no such thing as presence.
No such thing as presence?
Not
just sitting in a chair.
The
there
presence
isn't a thing called presence. You know, all there is boundlessness.
The presence of... to be in the presence of no separate one?
No, there isn't. That's like objectifying it again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There isn't someone with boundlessness or presence. There's only boundlessness.
Yes. So.
Hello. Did you say that in India, Advaita is the soul? Yeah?
Advaita.
Advaita is word or as Advaita?
Well, Hinduism.
Advaita is in India, yes?
Well, it originated, I think. Yeah.
So what I mean, it
the idea of it. I mean, it's only an idea.
Okay, so not it's only idea, or maybe it was already how to say manifested there, or
no. The word Advaita means not to, which is a way of referring to oneness. But oneness is boundlessness. And boundlessness didn't start in India.
Wow.
The Americans would like you to think it started in California. There is just boundlessness. And in Hinduism, there was a recognition of that and a teaching about it. But mainly it was a teaching about becoming, whereas they used the word Advaita to try and avoid objectifying the idea of oneness. So the word not to, the term not to, is a way of avoiding saying, if you use the word oneness, then the mind will turn it into an object. That's the theory. But of course now the mind has turned Advaita into an object as well. It's another thing you can get or not. But it originated in Hinduism. Advaita Vedanta is a part of that, is the part which tries to express something that's beyond the path, that can't be known. It's the same as non-dualism, really.
Yeah.
It's non-dualism is that there is only oneness.
What I mean, always, when it was separateness, always was this longing for togetherness,
Yeah.
and sometime it was this openness also, like how to say, realizing. Yeah.
At one time there was, did you say? Or?
While all the time.
Wild.
Yeah.
It is wild all the time, but people have come on the earth and then separation has happened, apparently.
Tony, that shirt is very sexy.
Sorry?
Your
Sexy?
shirt is very sexy. The point of view is like Gabi might find it sexy on me. That's.
There's
I'm
a
not.
certain undertow of sexuality sitting here, actually.
Yes. Now about video. A lot of the time when Tony's talking gets videoed and put onto YouTube. And in the back by the tripod, there's a few cards that have Tony's picture with the YouTube address for information of those who might like it.
Okay.
And other cards that have the YouTube address plus an email address with stones that look like chocolates or chocolates that look like stones.
All right.
And so that's available.
Okay, good. Thank you. And thanks for doing this. It's great.
Yeah, my pleasure.
A lot of people get.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a pain in the ass, but you know, it's like any job, as it were.
And I thought you were a dedicated disciple.
Sure you did. And also from the back, there's a more or less continuous video from when you walk in, which will probably eventually get posted, because here connections are very slow, and at home they may also be slow. But the point about that is that people in the front rows may have the back of their heads in it.
Oh, I see. Wow.
And if they turn around, they may have the fronts of their heads in it. Probably hard to recognize, but possible.
Okay.
So anybody who worries about it, I would recommend that they watch all of them and see if there's any point at which they object.
Wow. Okay.
Which is maybe in a week or two.